So the Specialized Levo SL certainly has a lot of people really interested in the bike, people with lots of feedback and comments. So I've got my test bike, my long-termer. I'm going to do a load of videos, range tests, that's coming up soon. Levo versus the SL as well, versus the full-powered Levo. And a lot of you have been really interested in the noise versus the full-powered Levo and the battery and the range and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely going to do some comparison videos to share with you all so you can listen to it and see what you think. What I will say though is the noise is often amplified when it comes across on video because the microphone frequency range kind of picks up that frequency because it's where the voice lays in and it's amplified a little bit. But I'll try and use the same mic on both the Levo and the SL Levo so you can see what you think. But I thought it'd be interesting to share this one with you. This is a chat with Marco Sonderegger, who's one of the product designers, and we'll go into a little bit of a deep dive onto the tech behind this new bike that Specialized have just released. So it feels a lot lighter than the motor that I've picked up that was in the Levo. Is it, what is it, around a kilo lighter or something?
A little bit more than that actually even. This is 1.9, the Levo is roughly 3 kilo, so it's over a kilo, much over a kilo lighter, yeah.
And this has got your logo on it.
That's right.
This is your design exclusive to Specialized.
Well, the special thing about our logo on that engine is on this engine actually we wrote the spec sheet. We decided or had the decision made of how many plugs do we want, how should it be sealed, what gear ratio should it have, how much power should it have. So we wrote the whole spec sheet from scratch. We started with big dreams and hopes that it should be 1.5 kilograms. We ended up at 1.9 because over the time of the development we had to just, reinforce the housing and add more seals because we want this one to really be sealed and stable and a long performer.
And talking about sealing, water sealing, I'm from the UK. It's kind of wet like all the time. There's been some people that have had replacement motors because water ingress. Now, what steps have you taken with this?
I can guarantee you on this one, and you might see it here, from the camera angle here, underneath those surfaces we actually have the bearings. The bearings sit back here, far in. And between the bearings and the outer surface we have 2 additional seals. We have a full radial seal and we have these metal seals on top. Okay. So it's labyrinth seals into radial seals into bearing seals. So it's triple sealed basically, which gives us an IP rating of 6867, which is basically jet wash friendly. Okay. So this engine you can, if you really want to, jet wash. I still ask you maybe not spray right on the seals, but it is the best sealed engine we've ever came up with. It's actually so sealed that we have to add a Gore-Tex membrane so it can breathe. Before we had no membrane, then it would...
Like in your jacket
or anything, because otherwise it would start sweating inside, right, if you can't breathe. So we added a Gore-Tex membrane so the engine can breathe and stays nice and cozy inside when it gets hot and cold, right? So it's a really, really sealed engine, and we have been jet washing our bikes and we have had no water ingress whatsoever. Then on the plugs, that's another main concern for us, to design plugs which are waterproof. You see we reduced the engine to only 2 plugs, so we don't have any blind plugs. We occupy this with the main power LED, and this is the speed sensor. Once plugged, fully waterproof. And those you actually never have to take in and out, they stay permanent in. So you cannot mess with these plugs either.
It looks super small, super compact, and I can tell there's a lot of work that's gone into it. Right.
Well, it is that small because, like I mentioned previous, it has a gear ratio of 1:50.
Okay.
So we were able to reduce the whole gearbox into a very small unit, yet have the engine spin really fast for high efficiency. Here you see the main PCB. That's basically where all the software sits of the main for controlling the engine. And here you see the PCB of just the torque sensor.
Right.
So we have a very special torque sensor, which has a very high resolution. So it actually senses you really, really well. With a cadence sensor inside. So we have a really nice algorithm which basically looks at both your torque and your cadence.
Yeah. What I noticed was the power delivery was constant across the cadence as well. And I heard you mention before that it's really quick to pick up. So when you get that real short blast of super quick cadence, you've got the power there, right?
Yes, well, that's one of the biggest goals for us was like when you coast and you push a stroke back in, you want instant power and instant engagement. So these three wheels in here are instantly engaged, and the power delivery or the efficiency we have at very broad cadence range from like 60 to 120, you are at full power and max efficiency. It's something about how you design the electrical engine and the gearbox together that you get to that nice stable plateau. So you don't feel like, if you pedal a little less, you don't feel like an instant drop of the engine. It keeps you going.
Okay.
But highest efficiency we reach at like cadence 80 to 90. So it's actually designed to feel natural for riders who like to spin.
Okay. And I guess no one can just open that and copy it. It's your engine, is it?
Yes, it's our engine. Nobody else can get it. We got it exclusive, and there's quite some patents on it as well. So I'm not so worried about it. And we'll see. Some people will try to get to 1.9 kilograms, but it's certainly
It's
a long journey. It's a long journey.
It's impressive. And then the battery, you've taken a slightly different approach with the integration, because it's not as plug and play as a Levo, for example, or a Kenevo, but it technically can be removed. What was the thought process there? The new bike?
The thought process was to get to the sub 17 kilograms. So if you want to go all in and you want to create that new class of bike to go really low in weight, you have to take all cards, right? You cannot do any compromise in weight. So if we bolt it full in, there's a couple actually good reasons for it. A, you can design a really light frame. B, people don't mess with the power LEDs, right? They don't mess with the main harness. The main harness at all times stays connected. You can't remove the battery and drop the battery on the floor. So we basically have always proper sealed. You never have to unplug, replug, you just charge the bike. So that was one of the main reasons too. And the weight, of course.
Yeah.
The battery itself, this one has 26 cells inside, 26, but it's a 48 volt system. So it gives you 320 watt hours.
Okay.
Then for modularity, we have this range extender, which is basically from a watt hour perspective, half the size of this. So this is 160 watt hours. And this basically you can ride as many as you want. You can start with it, or you basically drop it at the trailhead and pick it up a bit later. You leave it in the car, do a couple loops on this, do an additional loop on that. Like there's all kinds of ways of doing it. You can actually choose to, if you want, in our emission control app, you can choose to drain this one first.
Right.
So this one gets empty, you can remove it, replace it with a water bottle, ride on this one, and after that I think you're pretty tired.
So if you're at a bike park, for example, you did a loop, use
Just
that
on
one,
that,
drain it, chuck it in the car,
Yeah.
and then you're on that power there.
That's one example. We've done many. We went out with 2 of these and basically got to the trailhead, dropped it, put another one, put a water bottle in, drained both, and then on the way back we put a third one in and then got home. But that's like 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's long days,
That's a long
days out.
One of the things that I was quite intrigued with is that you can remove this from your bike and you can put your bike on an aeroplane. Now I know that
you can, yes.
It's possible, right? Because there's a lot of people, we live in the UK, a lot of people want to come and explore beautiful places like this, but it's difficult to ship an e-bike because of battery restrictions and flying.
Yeah. With this one, you're not allowed to fly, but with this, actually, most airlines, at least Swiss Air, I came here with 2 packs in my hand.
So you could take it.
You have to take that
out.
main battery out at check-in. When you check the bike in, don't say it's an e-bike, because if you say they were like, whoa, you can tell them the battery's out, they're still confused. So I just check it in as a bike. I have these 2 in my hand luggage. Most airlines allow 2 times 160 watt hours, so I traveled with these 2, and then you have quite a bit of riding on range extender only.
Yeah. Okay, so the user can actually undo a couple of bolts and drop the battery out. It's not like a dealer thing. They don't have to go back to their dealer to do it.
I've seen some very crafty people in the UK, so I am very sure that most users will see how you drop this engine.
All right, cool.
There's a few things you need to take care of. So when you remove the engine, the only thing I tell you to be careful of is these 2 cables. Like when you unplug them, don't have the engine drop to the ground, like be careful. I leave these 2 bolts in, and then you can actually tilt the engine, and then you can get the battery out without even fully removing it. So it's like meant to be tilted, and then you can take it out. You don't even need to remove those, and then just put the bolts loose back in, travel, and at that location either pick up one of these or range extender only.
Yeah, got it. Range, so you've got 320 watt hour. It's watt hours is difficult, and range, because it's depending on so many factors: rider, fitness, weight, weather, tire pressure.
Well, that and sorry, the number one factor is how much energy does this consume?
Yeah. That's
number one.
Okay. So how much is wasted, or how efficient
No, not
is
even
it?
just wasted, just like the 35 Newton meter, 240 watts uses a third of Levo energy.
Wow.
To get a Levo to the 90 Newton meters, like 560 watt peaks, a Levo consumes like 21 amps. This is maxed out at 7.
Okay.
So this is like a third of what a Levo uses. It's like I can compare it with cars. You have cars, it's like 3-liter Volkswagen Polo, and then you have whatever 20-liter Chrysler Jeep. So Levo, call it a Chrysler Jeep, like uses a lot of energy, has a lot of power, a lot of torque, and this is like a little fighter jet and doesn't use a lot of energy. So with 320 watt hours, you can get in eco mode up to 5 hours of riding. I have some ride examples for you. Together with these two together, we climbed 1,800 meters.
Okay.
In full turbo in this case. So you can go out there for quite some time and highly efficient, and just don't compare just numbers with numbers. The downsizing only works if you take care of both engine and battery.
Okay. So John and I, we rode today. John was on the Levo with a 700 watt battery. I was on the Levo SL with this battery and the range extender. And we did, I think it was around just under 3,000 foot of climbing. I returned with 50% battery, and so did he. So it's interesting to see how the bikes, he's got a much bigger tank, he's got a much bigger battery, we're a similar weight, but we both returned with exactly the same.
I believe you pushed a little harder.
Right, probably.
I believe he had a little bit more power.
Okay.
I don't know what modes you were in, but I believe he was in eco, trail most of the time probably, and you were in turbo?
I did use a bit of turbo.
Bit of turbo?
Yeah.
So yes, the power is very equalized in that regard, but you get plenty of range out of this bike. So we should hook you up with one, and you can do quite a few loops.
We'll do a nice range test.
Yeah.
So the bike itself, this vision started in 2010?
2011, long time ago. We had this vision of a lightweight engine which is just enough power to keep up with a pro athlete, was the initial idea. Like, how much power does a normal rider need to keep up with a pro athlete? So the initial goal was 150 watts. We felt like 150 watts was enough to keep up with people. And then over the time we actually realized that our beautiful engine can give us more. And of course you don't say no to more, right? So we ended up with 240 watts. But the full concept and development we started roughly end of 2015. We had like the first design ideas, and then in 2016 we were on it full gas with a big large team, and then delivered the bike just now, and last summer the Creo. And in between we did a lot of testing, lots of testing.
Yeah. So do you think this is the prime weight for an e-bike? Is there any point in getting lighter? What benefits do you have?
You can go lighter, but then you have compromise in either tires, brakes, or suspension.
All right.
So yes, I do believe that this package we're close to ideal. It feels really good. This bike here with the wireless setup is like 16.5 kilos, tubeless, and I got little lighter wheels on it, and it feels really nimble, really nimble.
Did I hear you built one up and it was like 15 kilos or something?
14.99 with pedals,
okay.
Yes. But that had like 180, 160 brake rotors, it had lighter brakes, it had the light wheels, and it had like 800 gram tires. So with those tires today on some of the trails, you have to be very careful of rocks. These are proper trail tires, those you don't flat.
Yeah, and they felt good, and no punches on this ride or the previous group rides before us, so it's well equipped.
However, if riders really want to have that bike just for fire road riding and want to have that efficient, epic style of bike, you could buy this one and go to the bike shop and buy yourself lightweight tires, downgrade the brakes to something less powerful, and you save a lot of weight right out of like pretty cheap money. With tires you can save a lot of weight and efficiency, but then you have to be careful of punctures.
Yeah, I mean, riding it feels super poppy. I've been riding the Canevo, so you can imagine a 25 kilo bike in my size with pedals to this. It just feels like it just wants to fly, and it picks up speed so quickly.
It accelerates a lot quicker, of course. It's less weight, right? And it's efficient with the 29er wheels. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's like at the very beginning of e-bikes, I would read through your forum too, and many people would say like, weight doesn't matter. And I was like, oh guys, just like believe.
Yeah.
It's like weight makes a large difference in handling. If you keep them on the fire road, yes, it doesn't matter. But if you start berms into jumps into rollers and roots and you just want to double things, this one just pops.
Cool.
Which is fun.
Yeah, it's been great fun. So that's it, you're done with e-bikes now, you've created the perfect e-bike?
No, not quite. There's still some ways to go for sure.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things we learned again throughout the development, and at one point, like you've done it before, right? You're in your development and you have all these great ideas, but yet you need to deliver something. So our head is always spinning. Even like today, we had some good ideas on the trail.
Cool. Look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Thank you. Cheers, man.
Rob, thanks for coming.